All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's Doug Diamond here for another fun-filled, fact-filled Diamond Report Live. Glad you guys are here. It is 10:07 p.m. Central Time on December 17th, and hope you guys had a really great weekend. It was a really short one for some reason. I'm not sure why. These weeks are just flying by. I'm sure it is for you guys as well. Anyway, we're here to look at the news, so let's get started. Got lots to take a look at tonight. Not too many videos. I played two, actually, back-to-back Greg Reese reports there. One of them was very short. The other one I thought was very important as well, with the guy, the Italian health minister, basically coming under fire for all of the Nisciana deaths in Italy. Well, you can add him to the list. And and everyone else across the world are responsible. And, will there be any sort of ramifications come of it? Most likely not in this lifetime. So, all right. Anyways, hope you enjoyed those two videos. We've got a couple other videos, but not too much in the way of extracurricular videos tonight. We do have quite a few articles to take a look at, though. I've got a bunch of them pulled up. So as per usual, let's start with HalTurnerRadioshow.com. We've got a few headlines to look at, and we'll just take it from there, see where we end up. U.S. M2 money supply collapsing faster than during the Great Depression. The supply of physical cash money in circulation inside the United States is collapsing faster than it did during the Great Depression. So that's not good news, is it? Top 5 container shipping companies now are refusing Israel cargo transit through the Red Sea. Within the past 96 hours, 5 of the top 10 ocean shipping lines on the planet have announced they will no longer handle shipments to or from Israel through the Red Sea, meaning the Suez Canal. Naval deployments hint at another agenda, and it's not Israel. The map below shows U.S. and allied naval deployments in the area of the Middle East, reveals the deployments are utterly massive. The ships are allegedly there in support of Israel to assure no other countries get involved over Israel's genocide. Let's take a look at the map here. It says tracking ships IVO, Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, Gulf of Oman, Persian Gulf. So there are a lot of ships out there. It's because, look, there's an HMS Diamond. That's because those people dared to put their countries near our ships and our bases. So, it says, what if the U.S. has decided that since Saudi Arabia is leading OPEC into de-dollarizing sales of oil, that the Saudis must be wiped from power? What if the U.S. and our allies they're not for Israel, but to literally take the Middle East, almost all of it, and wipe away OPEC and Muslim terrorism in one fell swoop? So says Hal on his website. I don't know that I buy that, but anyway, it is pretty interesting. He has lots of good articles and interesting headlines over here on his website, HalTurnerRadioshow.com. This picture is pretty funny. Boom, MSC, world's largest container shipping company, halts all Red Sea transit. The guy pulling the boat. That's pretty funny. Says, silly Yemen, they have no idea at all about the trouble coming for them. Again, this is on Hal's website. Above is a satellite image of the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carrier en route to the area of Yemen to confront the Houthis over their attacks against international shipping and commerce. The map below shows the approximate range between the Eisenhower and the area of Yemen from which the Houthis are launching attacks. So you can see there on the map. In less than one day, the Eisenhower and its 90 or so strike aircraft will be well within comfortable range of the Houthi stronghold. Guess who's coming to dinner? Interfering in global commerce is a big no-no. I suspect the Houthis are about to be taught a lesson in a very terse manner, Hal says. So, time will tell. I don't know. But yeah, you're going against the American empire, you're going to get punched in the nose, most likely. So yeah, there's more news here over on Hal's website. He's got some weather alerts and stuff too, but I think that's sort of old news at this point. So anyway, let's keep moving. G. Edward Griffin's Need to Know.news shocking footage of the collapse of the U.S. border and the end of the American Republic. I would say the American Empire is what it is now. Migrants pouring in from all over the world are lined up for miles in Mexico to hop trains and enter the U.S. AJ reported that Border Patrol is catching 12,000 border crossers per day, but an estimated 80% of them get away. They get away, with probably some help, I'm guessing, and enter the U.S. He said that U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the U.S. Army are bulldozing any fences that Texas builds to stop them. Army soldiers order reporters to leave the area to prevent documentation of the mass immigration. That's why we have no idea how many millions of people are coming in, but it's definitely in the millions. Safe to say that. Record numbers of military-age Islamic men have been allowed inside the U.S. border, and AJ predicts that attacks by them will commence. It's just a matter of time, really. The violence will be used to bring in martial law and more control. 3 weeks ago, but not more control over them, more control over us. 3 weeks ago, FBI Director Wray warned that red lights are flashing as terror attacks are imminent. But he means terror attacks by the Trump supporters. That's what he means when he says that. Redacted is a good YouTube channel, by the way, reported that a 4 million migrant caravan will arrive in the U.S. 4 million migrant caravan will arrive in the U.S. in mid-January. An investigative journalist said that the borders are being overwhelmed. He detailed the graft and corruption by NGOs that are facilitating the migration. Yes, we are being conquered, my friends. Here's the guy that the host of Redacted, which I do think is a good YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe there. All right, Revolver.news. Tennessee Muslim parents allegedly spat on and beat and sliced their teenage son for converting to Christianity. It's hard to imagine anyone seriously claiming that Islam is tolerant of Christianity, yet in a striking irony, this same religion, often viewed as intolerant, divisive, and even violent, is what many on the left champion and support. This leads to the question, would these supporters condone a Muslim family that physically assaulted their son for converting to Christianity? Yes, they probably would. And they might even hail these parents as heroes. But the shameful reality is that this mother and father and brother embody the very stereotype of a religion that is frequently perceived as violent and unforgiving. This tragic incident is a clear example of how deep-seated hatred and radicalized religion can tear a family apart. So, more on this. It says, mother, dad, and son were arrested after officers responded to a welfare check to find a juvenile who appeared to be cut haphazardly with lumps on his face. According to the arrest warrant, the victim told the police his family attacked him for recently becoming a Christian. The family are Muslims, the warrant adds. The victim told officers his mother, brother, and father repeatedly punched him and spat on his face. Arrest records show his mother then took a knife and scratched the back of his right hand with it. His family demanded he take back his Christianity belief and say he was a Muslim during the attacks. And the arrest record adds. The victim said the abuse continued until law enforcement arrived at the home. When officers saw the victim, he was trembling and wide-eyed and disheveled hair. The boy was transported to a local hospital for treatment. Doesn't say how old the boy is, but apparently he's the younger brother here in this situation. So, wow. Not too surprising, though, either, huh? IDF kills 2 women taking shelter at Gaza church, Catholic authorities said. Israeli forces killed 2 women who were taking shelter at a church on the Gaza Strip on Saturday. The Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem and Ecclesiastical Office for the Latin Catholics in the region, in a statement, identified the victims, a mother and daughter, by their first names only, and said that they were shot in cold blood. A sniper from the IDF shot the women at the Holy Family Parish in Gaza, where the majority of Christian families in Gaza have taken refuge during the war, according to the Patriarchate's statement. So, again, Christians being killed. It's either the Muslims or it's the Israelis. So, Wow. I thought this was kind of interesting, given my experience with Twitch, which you guys probably know is a live streaming platform that I was on briefly, very briefly. Says that Twitch, it's kind of hard to get the thing placed here. Twitch relaxes sexual content policy following backlash to predatory female streamers. Twerking, grinding, and pole dancing now are freely allowed with no content labels. So Twitch is loving their porn, apparently. If a site with a primarily teenage user base were to receive a bevy of complaints against an invasion of unrelated users preying on those same users with their sexuality, one would expect them to take some action to retain the integrity of the operation, that is, unless the site were Twitch, as rather than respond to a new round of complaints against their continued compromising of their sexual content policies in favor of cashing in on the behavior of predatory female streamers by fairly enforcing their own rules. The purported video game streaming platform has instead heavily relaxed them. The current round of criticism against Twitch was sparked after a number of users took notice of the fact that in a natural progression of the platform's already egregious allowance of hot tub and bikini streams, some female streamers had taken to streaming, or at least appearing to stream, completely topless. Wow. While many such streamers have been highlighted as engaging in this practice, 3 in particular found themselves as the face against the latest backlash. And then, of course, talks about who they are. So, all that to say, you want to see my Twitch account? Here's my Twitch account. This channel is currently unavailable due to a violation of Twitch's community guidelines or terms of service. Right here it is. Twitch.tv/Diamond Disc Audio. You see it right there. I got canned from Twitch many months ago, maybe a year ago now, because my content, which is exactly what you're watching right now, is not suitable for Twitch. So there you go. 4 major shipping firms halt Red Sea route after Houthis attacks. Yemen's Iran-based Houthis have launched a series of attacks on commercial vessels in the highly trafficked Red Sea Strait as retaliation for Israel's Gaza operation and Washington's support of Israel. In light of these developments, shipping giants A.P. Moller, Maersk, also known as Maersk, and Hapag-Lloyd halted their container ships from sailing in these highly contested waters on Friday. 2 other major shipping firms followed suit on Saturday. The number of major shipping firms that have suspended sails through the Red Sea due to elevated missile and drone attacks near the strategic Bab al-Manab Strait has jumped to 4. So it's just going from bad to worse here. And what's the American Empire doing? We're sending more ships, which of course will that'll help a lot, right? Anyway, that's on Zero Hedge. And then let's see. Discern Report. Madison Cawthorn, you probably remember him, has 3 words for America following the homo porn scandal in the Senate, which I'm sure you guys probably have heard about. His 3 words were, "I told you." So, we'll look at that a little bit closer, unfortunately, in just a few minutes. So, yeah, that's on discernreport.com. Technocracy.news. Let's take a look at a few of the headlines here. UN Climate Summit. End energy in the U.S. Global taxes and war on humanity. It's about control of energy and hence about controlling economic activity. Abundant, cheap energy cannot be controlled. Thus, it must be destroyed. Don't overthink the plot. It really is just this simple. When you own nothing by 2030, you will be sitting in the dark, exposed to bitter cold or sweltering heat. Welcome to Technocracy and also Klaus Schwab's New World. So again, this is on technocracy.news. One of the next articles on here, meet the cavemen and women of the anti-human death cult. As more people get wind of the anti-human nature of technocracy, they will repudiate it. Technocrats have been bent on controlling energy for almost 100 years, particularly the removal of cheap energy that cannot be controlled. Technocracy News has repeatedly warned these policies will rewind civilization into the 1700s and risk cutting down all the trees for fuel, because trees are bad. And they forgot to mention cows. Cows are bad too. So that's the other article, the second of three here on technocracy.news. It begins, here come the deep fakes of the AI news anchors. In the future, AI will write news stories and present them with deepfake AI news anchors. As AI improves, you will be unable to discern what is fake and real. Some experts are forecasting that as much as 80% of the news will be delivered this way by 2028. How about that year? Layer on the AI bots that will comment on the AI-generated stories, and you will see reality fading out in your rearview mirror. Well, you can be assured that this particular program will never be run by AI or deepfake AI anchors. So you don't have to worry about that one. Anyway, besides, AI would not be allowed to talk about the things that I talk about. So anyway, that's on technocracy.news. I thought this was a bit interesting. Look at this. Commission selects a final concept for the redesigned Minnesota state flag, and it looks just like the Somalian flag. So this is what's going to be ostensibly the newly redesigned Minnesota flag right here on the left. And this is the flag of Somalia. Don't think that's a Photoshop accident. So, pretty interesting, huh? And I wanted to mention this one as well. I've got a short video clip that goes with this. And this is something that came up during the Wednesday daytime live stream that I did with my good friend Loyalty of the YouTube channel Loyalty in the Last Days. He mentioned the upcoming eclipse. And that's what this is talking about. Civil War, which is a new film coming out. Civil War is in theaters on April 26th, 2024. Not too long from now. Civil War, the movie, is in theaters on April 26th, 2024, which is just 18 days after the eclipse that divides America. 18 days. 18 is 666. So, yeah. I had never heard of the film Civil War. I don't really sit around watching TV much and watching trailers for films. Maybe you guys had heard of this. So what we've got pulled up here, though, is the trailer for Civil War. I thought we would take a look at it and just see how oppressive and depressing it is. So this is what Alex Garland imagines an even more divided America in the trailer for Civil War. Keep in mind that this film is coming out 18 days, 666, after the eclipse that also literally divides America. So is that an accident? I don't know. You be the judge. So here it is. Here's the trailer.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America. The so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens? We're moving to D.C. today.
We need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death. Blooded.
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go, 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 go!
God bless America.
Yeah, so coming 666 or 18 days after the eclipse that will also divide America. Is that an accident? I don't know. So there's more on this article on tor.com if you want to visit that site and check it out. But the trailer looks pretty interesting. So yeah, that's what they have planned for us. And it looks like some of the verbiage that I've been using quite a bit as well. The empire, calling America the empire. All empires fall, and that is exactly what that said in the film. So anyway, very interesting, huh? Eyeball scanning digital ID company WorldCoin integrates with Reddit, Telegram, and more. The controversial technology is hitting more apps. Says WorldCoin. You might have heard of this. I don't know. We talked about this before. It's been a couple of months or more now. WorldCoin, the eyeball scanning protocol, co-founded by Sam Altman, is cracking open a wider integration network by adding support for platforms such as Minecraft, Reddit, Telegram, Shopify, and Mercado Libre to its World ID offering. This comes on the back of the cohesive upgrades it has already sealed with Discord, Talent Protocol, and Okta's Auth0. Digital ID systems like the one used by WorldCoin raise significant privacy concerns due to the sensitive nature of the biometric data that they collect and store. The other issue is that identity becomes immutable. Consider a scenario where your digital identity becomes inaccessible, perhaps due to regulatory action or technical issues, or you could say social credit scores. In conventional financial systems, including traditional cash and most cryptocurrencies, you can simply create a new wallet and start over. However, with systems tied to unique biometric identifiers such as iris scans, you can't easily replace your identity. Unlike a plot from a science fiction movie, obtaining a new iris scan is not a feasible option. Well, I think Tom Cruise did it in, what was that film? In the futuristic film that was out a while back. He replaced his eyeballs, right? WorldCoin was unleashed on the world approximately 4 months ago and recently revved up its protocol to reach World ID 2.0. The company underlines that this upgrade simplifies the task of distinguishing between bots and verified humans in the digital world. So, yeah, you guys must be sick and tired of having to verify stuff. I know I certainly am. I have multiple accounts with lots of different clients, and I mean, I probably spend half of my life verifying who I am. I don't know about you guys, but it's really becoming a bit cumbersome. So, yeah, very strange, very strange. So anyway, yeah, eyeball scanning digital ID company WorldCoin. They're branching out. So yeah, Reddit and Telegram, I kind of get. Shopify is a very well-known shopping cart type of system, e-commerce type system. But Minecraft is all kids game. It's all video game. So that's pretty interesting. Conditioning the youth. Minecraft is owned by none other than Bill Gates and Microsoft. All right, just in, 10 IEDs found at U.S.-Mexico border. U.S. Customs and Border Protection issues warning. Biden's broken border, BBB, Biden's broken border raises concerns beyond the consequences of tens of thousands of illegals streaming across the porous border. I don't know where they get those numbers. Tens of thousands per day, maybe. Fox Business reports that a federal law enforcement source shared an internal officer safety alert from U.S. Customs and Border Protection on December the 13th, warning CBP agents to be vigilant after the Mexican military seized 10 improvised explosive devices, IEDs, at the border. So, wow. So look for some of these things to make their way across if they haven't already, which my guess is they have. And like I've been saying all along, they're going to start arming them soon as they're coming in. Perhaps this is how they do it. They let them bring in their own armaments. So that is on the Gateway Pundit. And this article is kind of interesting. It's on The Good Citizen. A rooster crows in Istanbul. A bizarre voyage to a parallel world without past or self. I thought this picture was kind of interesting. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and inside an urban enclave buried in a valley of northeast Istanbul, comprised of posh hotels and skyscrapers, brimming with tech businesses and medical clinics, the sound of a rooster crows wakes me. My first question is, what is a rooster doing in urban Istanbul? The second, why is he crowing 3 hours before sunrise? A rooster crowing in a city, is a strange sound mixed with the slight humming of automobiles a dozen stories below and the occasional horn, more common during every second of the day. I soon discover that this rooster in Istanbul isn't crowing for the morning. He's crowing in anticipation of the local mosque's first call to morning prayer. At 6:30, the rooster finally stops, and moments later, the call to prayer takes over. The droning sound of a recorded voice calls out to remind the Islamic faithful to go to the mosque or fall on their knees and face Mecca for their first of 5 daily rituals. So it goes on a little further here, but I do think it was kind of interesting talking about the rooster crowing. You guys will probably remember that from the New Testament, right? The rooster crowing. And the rooster article was linked to off of this website that I frequent called Daily Crow. And there was some other text on here about the that particular article. I thought it was kind of interesting, talking about Istanbul and the rooster crowing. All right. So a ball of brain cells on a chip can learn simple speech recognition and math. This is on Singularity Hub. A tiny ball of brain cells hums with activity as it sits atop a array of electrodes. For 2 days, it receives a pattern of electrical zaps, each stimulation encoding the speech peculiarities of 8 people. By day 3, it can discriminate between speakers, dubbed brain aware. The system raises the bar for biocomputing by tapping into 3D brain organoids, or mini brains. These models, usually grown from human stem cells, rapidly expand into a variety of neurons knitted into neural networks. Boy, we've been hearing a lot about those things a lot lately, as far as talking about artificial intelligence in particular. Like their biological counterparts, the blobs spark with electrical activity, suggesting they have the potential to learn, store, and process information. Scientists have long eyed them as a promising hardware component for brain-inspired computing. So here we go. Anyway, there's more on this particular story on Singularity Hub. And this article, like all the others, I will have linked to in my Substack when I post that, hopefully tomorrow. I've been doing a little bit better on that, posting the Substack as soon as I can. The main thing with Substack that I post is, we'll have all the article links in it, but I wait until I have all of the uploaded video, the full video of tonight's show, linked to on all the other platforms like Rumble and BitChute and Brighteon and so forth. So I have to have the video done and uploaded and links generated everywhere before I send out the Substack email that has all of the links to these articles. I don't want to inundate you guys with multiple emails every day or multiple times a day, so I try to refrain from that. So anyway, that's the holdup on the links going out. I'm just waiting for the show links as well. WEF likens misinformation to a cybersecurity issue in calls for more action. Of course. This is on InfoWars. According to a recent study by the WEF and allied organizations, cybersecurity concerns are taking on new dimensions. Misinformation and disinformation disseminated via the internet, i.e. truth, are now being framed as key challenges in ensuring cybersecurity. The troubling report was launched on December 5 and designated as Cybersecurity Futures 2030, New Foundations. So, more here, including a Ron Paul video, Abolish the WEF, ahead of the CBDC lockdown. So, kind of interesting. That's all on Infowars.com. Feel free to look at that if you want. In depth, home church pastor says constitutional rights violated after city issued cease and desist. Just because this is a zoning issue doesn't mean it's not a violation of our First Amendment rights. Not a lot of information here that I can read to you guys, but you can find it on the Epoch Times. A pastor of a home-based church in Rogers, Minnesota is facing a city government cease and desist order after a complaint was allegedly filed by a neighbor. So a neighbor filed a complaint that this guy is having a church, a small church group, meet in his home, and he gets a cease and desist order from the city. So, wow. So look for more of that coming soon to a city near you, I'm sure. And then, as we mentioned a little bit in chat here, I see, and then also in the film, the Barack Obama film, I guess, that Greg Reese mentioned in the first video tonight. Barack Obama produces Netflix film adaptation that says white people shouldn't be trusted in the apocalypse. Of course not. In the film, Leave the World Behind is an apocalyptic movie based on a book where an attack on America causes widespread blackouts. Obama loved the book, so he decided to make a movie about it, and it's at number 1 on Netflix right now. So here's the trailer, which there's actually a little clip of that in the Reese video that we watched at the beginning of the show tonight. So there it is if you want to check that out. U.S. warns North Korea against nuclear attacks. The United States has warned North Korea that any nuclear attack against the nation or its allies is unacceptable and will result in the end of the Kim Jong-un regime. The Kim Jong-un regime, a joint U.S. Southern Korea statement said on Saturday. The U.S. side reiterated that any nuclear attack by the North Koreans against the ROK will be met with a swift, overwhelming, and decisive response. That's pretty interesting. So they're already threatening the people who are doing the threatening. North Korea fires ballistic missile toward the sea. So, yeah. I mean, we know that Kim Jong-un does have nuclear technology. So, anyway, this is on a shark al-Sawat, wherever that is. But it's the English version, obviously. Otherwise, I would have a hard time reading it for you. U.S. terror watch list doubles in size. Thousands of Americans, probably you, probably me, have found themselves on the list, which was declared unconstitutional in a 2019 court ruling, but it doesn't matter because it's okay if they do it. The U.S. government's list of known or suspected terrorists has nearly doubled in size in the past 6 years, with American citizens comprising a growing portion of the names, CBS reported on Thursday, citing former and current intelligence officers, court records, and other government documents. The terrorist screening dataset included about 2 million people as the end of this year, up from around 1.16 million in 2017. Last time Washington publicly confirmed those numbers. The watch list has grown by leaps and bounds since its creation in 2003, with just 120,000 people. Well, it's not going to do anything but go up. So, If you disagree with what the U.S. government empire is doing, you get put on the list. So that is on RT.com, which is itself an agency, a news agency that the government does not like, because it's called Russia Today, RT.com. Breaking: Biden shocked as vehicle rams into parked car in his motorcade. This just happened earlier today. Secret Service reacts, weapons drawn near Delaware campaign headquarters. A silver copper sedan collided forcefully into a parked SUV belonging to Biden's motorcade. The collision occurred moments after Joe and Jill exited a building where he was concluding a visit to his campaign headquarters in Wilmington. I didn't know he even had campaign headquarters. Why does he need one? Joe and Jill, although reportedly unharmed, were visibly shocked by the loud crash. According to reports, security agents drew their weapons. The sedan, traveling fast, was stopped as security personnel surrounded it and instructed the driver to surrender. They didn't check to see if he was okay first, I guess. Tight security that surrounds Biden was breached on Sunday night after a car collided with part of the presidential parked motorcade in Wilmington. I mean, it would be a shot in the dark if the driver was going for the one with Biden in it. There's like 100 cars in these motorcades because all they care about is the environment. I kid you not. There's probably at least 50 in the motorcade. There usually is. Far left Zuckerberg reportedly developing a $270 million fortress in Hawaii with a massive underground bunker and escape hatch. So, yep, he gets to own it all. Him and Oprah. Far left Zuck, CEO of Meta, is building a massive compound on the Hawaiian island of Kauai, featuring an escape hatch and a massive doomsday underground bunker. I actually knew about this already because I've heard AJ on that unmentionable network we're not supposed to talk about has mentioned this before, because he was recently, I think maybe in the last 6 months, I should say, in Hawaii, and he was put onto this whole story. So I remember him talking about it then. But yeah, quite the compound, I guess, Zuckerberg has. The striking details of Zuckerberg's secretive Hawaiian project have emerged following a Wired investigation, citing sources and documents obtained through public records requests. With an estimated total cost exceeding $270 million, which that's chump change for Zuck, his fortress boasts a 5,000 square foot subterranean bunker with living spaces, mechanical rooms, and a ladder to an above-ground escape hatch. Sounds very James Bond-esque. Only he's the villain, not the hero. The sense of fortress-like security is heightened by the inclusion of blind doors, portals designed to seamlessly blend with walls. Authenticated access control via keypads and soundproofing are additional features. Plans for the site suggest a private escape, with the compound poised to offer self-sufficiency through its own water tank system and food production across its sprawling 1,400 acres. Yep, and I bet all the buildings have blue roofs too. And you know what I mean when I say that. So yeah, there's Zuckerberg. Private property. Keep out, meaning keep off the island. Private property. So yeah, that is on Gateway Pundit, is where that is. Now let's see here. What else? We got a few other Gateway Pundit articles here. I think we jumped around a little. All right. No democracy for you. Chicago City Council won't allow voters to decide whether to keep the sanctuary city policy. The city council decided that the people of Chicago will not be allowed to vote on whether or not the city retains its sanctuary city policy. Why do you suppose that is? Democrats have spent the last several years claiming to be the defenders of democracy, but when it comes to important issues facing the people who live in Chicago, these Democrats are telling voters to pound sand. They don't want people to vote on this for one obvious reason. The people will say that they don't want this policy. Yeah, and those people will be voted out. But you can't have that. because once they get in power, they stay in power. That's how it works. So yeah, Chicago's City Council. So wonderful and loving. They really care about their constituents. Or not. So speaking of the American Empire, this article on the Gateway Pundit, Leo Hohmann, The Collapse of the American Empire. Globalists on a mission turn Americans against each other before a foreign power is called in to finish the job. Again, Obama's new Hollywood movie is very instructive. They are telling us their plans. So yeah, you know, we have a common theme, I guess, in this show. It's partly, at least in this Obama film that's out. The globalists believe it's supremely important to utterly and very publicly destroy the United States of America, not because America is some bastion of freedom and democracy. It isn't. Over the last roughly 100 years, America's major institutions have been infiltrated and completely taken over. Government, healthcare, financial and corporations, the mass media, education, law enforcement, and the courts, the military, and 90% of the churches and synagogues have all come under the influence and control of the globalist agenda. That is very well said. Some may believe that they are still relevant and independent, but when push comes to shove, the overwhelming majority of churches will capitulate to the globalist agenda of the Great Reset, which is aimed at digitizing every nation, every major institution within the nations, and every object, living and non-living. Control the food, water, energy, and money, and you control the people. That's what Agenda 2030, Sustainable Development, and the Great Reset are really all about. However, despite achieving such an immense level of control, it's still important for the globalist elites to totally deconstruct and humiliate America, destroy its middle class, and bring it to its knees. You may ask, why are they so intent on destruction if they already control everything? Because most people around the world still have the perception of America being a beacon of individual freedom and prosperity, living under a constitutional republic. Look at how the masses flock to the U.S. southern border in hopes of being granted asylum. That is an idea that must be crushed and driven out of the minds of billions of people. To accomplish that, the globalists must destroy the biggest remaining symbol of individual freedom, America. Anyway, yeah, it goes on to talk about this Obama film and so forth. So we've mentioned that several times tonight. I have not seen the film. I don't know if you guys have. But I did find it interesting that Leo Hohmann on this Gateway Pundit article is talking about that as well. Tens of thousands of illegals continue to catch the train in Mexico bound for the U.S. on Biden's open border invitation. Tens of thousands of illegal aliens are trying to catch a train in Mexico en route to the U.S., according to Fox News. Fox source captured tens of thousands of migrants attempting to catch a train in Mexico 3 hours south of Piedras Negras, bound for the U.S. border, where the Border Patrol agents are already overwhelmed with unprecedented numbers. So a video posted to X on Wednesday showed an endless line of mainly military-age males standing next to the train waiting to catch a ride to the U.S. And they won't be going home anytime soon. They're coming here for our homes. So anyway, that is on Gateway Pundit as well. Got quite a few Gateway Pundit articles tonight. Facebook DEI executive. You know what DEI stands for, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Has been charged with stealing $4 million from Facebook in a giant, elaborate plot. Former Facebook executive Barbara Furlow Smiles, what a name, Furlow, Barbara Furlow Smiles, has pleaded guilty to taking her employer to the cleaners to the tune of $4 million. The former global diversity executive, see DEI, she's very diverse and equitable and inclusive, is she not? Wow. So former global diversity executive for Facebook used the cash to live a luxury lifestyle in California and Georgia, according to the Department of Justice news release. This defendant abused a position of trust as a global diversity executive for Facebook to defraud the company of millions of dollars, ignoring the insidious consequences of undermining the importance of her DEI mission. That's not all. Motivated by greed, she used her time to orchestrate an elaborate criminal scheme in which fraudulent vendors paid her kickbacks in cash. She even involved relatives, friends, and other associates in her crimes, all to fund a lavish lifestyle through fraud rather than hard and honest work, which you definitely get working at Facebook. Furlough Smiles, I just can't get over that name. Furlough Smiles served as lead strategist, global head of employee resources groups and diversity engagement. How do you even fit all that on a business card? At Facebook, which is now known as Meta, from January 2017 to September 2021. Interesting date. She led Facebook's diversity, equity, and inclusion programming. And she'll be buying the resort right next to Zuckerberg on Kauai. Man. So, yep. More criminals in charge. What the world can learn from COP28 for COP29. So, yeah, I've been trying to find information about the whole COP28 thing. And I do think that, it was much ado about nothing in a lot of cases, as far as I can tell. The annual conference of the parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, better known as the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP28, took place over the past few weeks in Dubai. Neither the conference nor the hosts were without controversy, despite the best intentions of COP28 member states and climate champions. The summit was regrettably tainted by the words and deeds of an authoritarian host, the UAE, and a conference president, Dr. Sultan Al-Jaber, most notable for serving as Minister of Industry and Technology and heading the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, which provides about 3% of the world's oil. Between the host nation's determination to remain a major exporter of crude, justifiable reputation for environmental degradation through fossil fuel production, and notoriety for regularly appearing near the bottom of international rankings for human rights and press freedoms, it was always plainly obvious that UAE leaders would harbor plans to undertake a public relations campaign to rehabilitate their own global standing, never intending to work towards setting the world on a path to do a more sustainable future. So this whole article sounds like it's right out of the COP28. Anyway, so this is originally posted from Real Clearwire. That's probably why. Feel free to take a look at this if you want to, though. It's on Gateway Pundit. Biden's America. Homelessness in the United States hits historic high. In addition to the record number of illegal border crossers that have come into America over the last few years, probably 40 to 50 million are the high-end numbers I've seen. Biden can now take credit for another historic first. Homelessness is now more rampant than it has been since the government started keeping track. This is a multifaceted issue. The economy plays a role, but so do mental health, drug abuse, and a lack of new housing. Remember when all the Democrat activists in the media spent the entire 2020 election talking about how Biden has so much empathy? Take a bow, media bootlickers. So talking about homelessness now at the highest level in U.S. history. But it's okay if they do it. They just ignore it and sweep it under the rug like it's not there and it doesn't happen. And you're crazy if you bring it up. So that's all on the Gateway Pundit as well. And a couple more, I think, here. Tucker Carlson makes ominous comments on the truth behind UFOs. Really dark. There's a spiritual component there, and I don't fully understand, he says. So I think it's interesting. He's still out there talking about UFOs, which, of course, he did on his program when he was on Fox. Tucker appeared on the Redacted podcast this week, hosted by his former Fox News colleague, Clayton Morris. Oh, that was the guy I showed you earlier. Morris asked him which news stories bother him the most. Tucker responded, saying that He's most bothered by the 2020 election, saying that he now believes that there were issues surrounding the election that he once dismissed, but now concedes may be true. He's just now figuring this out. I think they're having 2024 in a few more days. So it's taken him a while. So come on, Tucker. Anyway, then he started talking about UFOs and things took a dark turn. So he went from the 2020 election to the next most important thing in his book is UFOs. Started talking about UFOs and things took a dark turn. Tucker suggested that if you talk to people with real knowledge on this topic, that there are aspects of it that are so dark that he won't even discuss it with his wife. He also says that there's a spiritual component to the issue that he does not understand and goes on to say that he wishes he did not know about this. Well, it's called evil. It's called anti-Christ. It's called demonic. But he says he doesn't fully understand. So, if you want to understand about UFOs, first of all, don't listen to Tucker Carlson. Listen to someone who knows. And that's not me. I'm just saying I know somebody who does know. And his perspective, in my opinion, is 100% right. And it's not Tucker Carlson. It is my good friend, L.A. Marzulli, who has some new films out that I am in the midst of working on right now. So you'll see on your screen here the two films in the center about Roswell. So I am literally in process of mixing these things as we speak. And the first one is pretty much done. And the second one we should have done in the next few days. So it will be available. It's available for pre-orders now. And they'll be available on DVD very soon. We didn't make the Christmas deadline, unfortunately. However, we do have we will have these films available up before Christmas on the streaming platforms. So he knows what he's talking about with regard to UFOs and aliens, quote unquote. So part one here is actually this one in the middle. It's called UFO Disclosure 7, Roswell Part 1. Shocking recovery of crashed craft and alien bodies in New Mexico. And then part 2 will also be available very soon. It's Roswell. Our team found something in the debris field, and the amazing test results are in. They literally found a piece of metal in the debris field of where the crash in Roswell happened. So, pretty interesting. So, that's about all I can tell you on that. I can tell you, though, that they're really good films, and LA did an amazing job putting these together. So, proud to be part of the team helping to mix the films. And I made a YouTube video back in August or so where I was mixing and working on part 6 of this series. These are part 7. It's actually part 7, episode 7, I guess. Part 1, part 2 is the way we've numbered it. But anyway, yeah, he's got some really good info out there on UFOs, and he's got this entire series called UFO Disclosure. So again, going back to Tucker, he's not really at that level where he's really totally understanding where these things are coming from. I do think that they're real and that people are having real experiences. However, it comes from the demonic side. It comes from the evil side, in my opinion. And from all the people that LA's interviewed and all the films that I've worked on of his, which is quite a few now, they're saying the same things. It's not some benevolent, loving other race on some other planet who's here to do good and love us and hug us. They really have an evil agenda, and it's possible that they don't even know. If their boss is Satan, it's possible they don't even know fully what the agenda might be. But I can tell you, it is not pro Jesus Christ for sure. So anyway, have a look at lamarzulli.net, and you can read more about these new films that are coming out in the next few days. So watch for that. Yeah, lamarzulli.net on that. So good stuff. Now, this is pretty bizarre, but this is something that I don't know if we're going to see more of this kind of thing or not. This Ukrainian counselor tossed grenades into his village government meeting. 26 people were injured, 6 critically so. Yeah, and I think one person died. It may have been him. I don't know. But he literally walks into this government meeting and starts casually dropping hand grenades on the floor and blowing people up. I hate to report that there's video of this disgusting action. I'm not going to post it in this article, but I will link to it here. Major content warning for those watching. There is no visible blood, but multiple people were gravely injured. Here's what happened. From the BBC, a deputy village councillor in western Ukraine has thrown grenades onto the floor of a council meeting, wounding 26 people, police say. The attack took place on Friday morning at the village council headquarters in Koretsky. Police have not yet commented on the possible motive for the attack, which has left 6 seriously wounded. The town council meeting, which was being live streamed on Facebook, when this councillor, Serhiy Batrin, showed up around the 90-minute mark during a heated discussion. The Telegraph says Batrin had left during the dispute and returned with the weapons. So he walks out and then he comes back in with it, I guess, with the grenades. Mr. Batrin is said to have feuded with fellow councillors in the village of Koretsky about a wartime pay increase for the council's leader. He had rode in the meeting before leaving and returning with grenades. So there's a screenshot you can see. Everybody's just ducking. I mean, he just casually comes in and is like plopping him down like he's throwing a couple of rocks onto the ground. What kind of coward goes to his own village meeting and decides to blow up a bunch of women, elderly neighbors, and civilian officials? It's a miracle that multiple people weren't instantly killed by the blast and the shrapnel. I'm praying the injured all pull through. Initial reports say one counselor had died, but doctors said they were able to resuscitate him. Okay. So I don't know what happened to the guy who did that, if he was the one that they resuscitated, maybe. I don't really know. But yeah. Total insanity. But that is on notthebee.com. And I first saw this actually on Hal Turner's website. He has the video on there if you want to see it, which I don't really recommend. But it's mostly just total chaos. You don't really see, gore of any kind. It's just total insanity, though. Just comes in and starts lobbing grenades. Anyway, so that is on notthebee.com, and so is this one. And you may have heard of this. I don't know. Christian veteran beheads and topples a satanic statue in Iowa Capitol. Okay, so I had to be neutral in that headline so Facebook wouldn't nuke us. This is according to notthebee.com. But can anyone say based? A Christian veteran has torn down and beheaded the satanic temple statue in the Iowa State Capitol. So there it is. Ripped its head right off. This is Michael Cassidy. He's a devout Christian and former military officer. Michael just tore down and beheaded the Satan idol that was erected in the Iowa Capitol. Not all heroes wear capes. Yeah, I know. It's not nice. And I'm not out here saying that breaking the law is always a godly thing to do. In a decent society, we wouldn't have to topple goat devil statues, but we live in a society where goat devil statues are sitting in our Capitol buildings and pastors defend it. So yeah, more info on here about what the guy did. Pretty interesting, huh? And this is more about it. Conservatives raised $20,000 in 2 hours for defense fund of Christian vet who beheaded the satanic statue in Iowa Capitol because they know he's going to get sued. I think he already is getting sued. It looks like the right is figuring something important out. It's a couple hours. Michael Cassidy, the Christian and veteran who courageously tore down a satanic idol in the Capitol, has had his defense funded fully at $20,000 on Give, Send, Go. Cassidy posted on his X account that he has closed the giving for the time being because he doesn't want to take any more money from supporters than necessary. So how about that? So he closed the Give, Send, Go because he's got enough funds to do those things that he needs to do, I guess. So yeah, big names in the conservative sphere quickly jumped to fund Cassidy's defense. Talking about Matt Walsh, Charlie Kirk, and others. Ron DeSantis even. So, wow. I'm not sure if he wasn't a military person, I don't know that he would be getting the accolades that he is getting. However, it is pretty funny, kind of interesting how this is all working out. I'm surprised that the left isn't calling for his head, though. And maybe they are. I just haven't seen it. So, yeah, that's on notthebee.com as well. Couple InfoWars articles. We're reaching the end here. We've got lots of articles tonight. Watch, Democrat lawmaker pushes for secure digital ID biometrically synced to your smartphone. Several Democrats praised digital ID and CBDCs during a recent hearing. During the recent House Financial Services Committee hearing, several government officials shared updates on their work on digital ID and central bank digital currencies, two types of technology that have the potential to give the government unprecedented levels of control and surveillance power, which is why they're all for it. Several Democrats also praised these technologies and criticized lawmakers who are pushing legislation that would shut down CBDCs. Yes, how dare they take away their control that they want. All right, and then on Vaccine Impact, again, the Netflix movie, back again. New Netflix movie warns of coming cyber attack. Former Freemason Wall Street manager explains how the banks will soon take your money. So, man, are they pushing this movie? At least the alternative media, I think, is sure pushing this movie pretty hard. So, I'm not really out there recommending to go watch it. I just think that it's interesting how much push this film is apparently getting. For good and for bad, I guess. I don't know. Netflix recently released a new fictional film entitled Leave the World Behind, which dramatizes what could happen with a cyber attack against the U.S. I watched this film yesterday since online comments about it were all over the place in trying to interpret it. I'm recommending everyone to watch this film. This is the writer of this article. Another corroborating source about what is about to happen is the non-fictional work of David Webb, someone I had not heard of before this week. Webb has published a new book that anyone can download for free. I have read about 75% of the book since yesterday, and I have to say this is definitely a must-read. David Webb has an incredible bio and came from a family deeply involved in Freemasonry. He was a successful Wall Street manager for years and now lives in Switzerland where he owns farmland. He's originally from Cleveland. I would consider Webb a true whistleblower who knows the intricacies of Freemasonry and the world's financial systems through previous experience. So that's pretty interesting, and it's a pretty good review of the behind of the film, the behind the scenes of Leave the World Behind. What is the difference between the image of the beast and the mark of the beast? This is another article on vaccineimpact.com. Kind of interesting title. This is another ride in my series about the book of Revelation in the Bible and the end times prophecies with possible interpretations presented in light of modern events currently happening in the world around us since the COVID scam in 2020. I am writing from the premise that modern day events point to the U.S. and American Christianity as the great prostitute in Babylon, with the first beast mentioned in Revelation being the financial system and not the Antichrist. This is according to this guy who wrote this article, which others beside myself often also interpret as the beast, and that the second beast that gives voice to and works together with the first beast is big tech. In this article, I want to identify what modern day evidence leads to as identifying the mark of the beast, which is different from the image of the beast. In Revelation 14, for example, we see these three identities all mentioned in the same verse. If anyone worships the beast in his image and receives a mark on the forehead or on his hand, he too will drink the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. He will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment rises forever and ever. There is no rest day or night for those who worship the beast in his image, or for anyone who receives the mark of his name. Revelation 14, 9 through 11. So what is the difference between the beast's image and his mark? So that's an article. It's kind of a long first paragraph there, but I thought I would read it for you because it sounded pretty interesting to me. I have not read the article, but feel free to check that out if you want. Again, it's on vaccineimpact.com, which, many of the articles on here are not even vaccine related, but they do have some interesting things. Let's just say that. Okay, GeoWatch for this week. We have Global Alert News, episode 436. It's called Superglue for the Atmosphere. It's time to consider giving the planet some sunblock. It's time to consider tweaking the clouds to cool the planet. Both statements are headlines from Economist.com. Now let's add the science report title from Science Daily. Superglue for the atmosphere, how sulfuric acid increases cloud formation. Exactly how many forms of toxic elements are being dispersed into our skies, with virtually no environmental impact reviews or public disclosure? How many have yet summoned the courage to even want to know? How many more can the planet's life support system take before total breakdown? Latest installment of Global Alert News is below. So yeah, Superglue for the atmosphere. Man. So another good GeoWatch article here in Global Alert News. So feel free to take a look at that and listen to it if you want. I can report to you that it's the same exact show across the different platforms this week. So yeah, it's available on YouTube and also the same thing on BitChute and Rumble. So just look up Geoengineering Watch or Dane Wigington on any of those platforms and you'll be able to find them, or just go to geoengineeringwatch.org and go over here to the recent column and click away. All the most recent articles are over there on the right-hand side. So yeah, good stuff. And then my good friend Loyalty and I did a broadcast this last week together. First live stream for him, and I was there to sort of help if anything needed to be helped, and I thought he did a good job. Feel free to look at this if you want to. It's actually still available on my Rumble channel. This is what it looks like. Loyalty in the Last Days, live broadcast, Exponential Expectations 2024. So I'm talking about a little bit of what might be coming. Here's Loyalty here. Can't really see him. What might be coming next year. So that's part of our discussion. I thought it was pretty good, and we'll be doing some others soon. So we had some technical issues to work out on that particular live stream. So let's just say it's not as easy as it looks. That's one thing that can pretty much anybody can take to the bank. Live streaming is not as easy as it looks, for sure. Not that I make it look easy. I'm just saying it's not. So, but yeah, Loyalty in the Last Days, good friend of mine, and we'll be doing some other broadcasts together. I think he had some really good information that he brought forth with regard to biblical end times information and where we're headed next year, 2024. So we didn't really even get into talking about the timeline as I presented it in the End Times Date series. However, so that's probably something we'll talk about maybe in the next show that we do together, which I'm guessing will probably not be until January, just based on at least my schedule. I'm sure he's busy as well, but right now there's no way I can probably squeeze in another one even this month, but we'll be doing another one soon. So we'll let you guys know when that happens. So yeah, all thanks to my good friend Loyalty on that. And apparently he doesn't have it on his live tab anymore on his channel, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I haven't talked to him about it. However, it is available on my Rumble channel just as it was in raw form. I didn't go back and do any editing on that one at all. So it's got all of the little foibles and dropouts and problems that we had with getting videos to play and all kinds of stuff. So just have to try and ignore that if you don't mind. But yeah, it's all there though. The information I think was pretty good. So anyway, and then I've got maybe another article or so. IDF kills 3 Israeli hostages it misidentifies as terrorists in tragic incident. 3 Israeli hostages. And that's probably true, but they're kind of forgetting that they killed hundreds of their own people on October 7th when all this unfolded. So just thought I would, kind of casually mention that little fact that they happened to miss. But this is talking about some of the hostages, apparently, during searches and checks in the area in which the incident occurred. A suspicion arose over the identities of the deceased, IDF stated. Their bodies were transferred to the Israeli territory for examination, after which it was confirmed that they were 3 Israeli hostages. So they're killing their own people yet again. So, man, what do they say about your own worst enemy? Man, it's not good. Not good. So, yeah, that was the Israeli 365. Well, it's Israel365news.com is where that particular article is. And what else? I guess that was the end of the articles. I've got my store page pulled up here because I've added 3 new products, and I only had time to do 3 so far. I did those earlier today and then added those into the store. So feel free to take a look at this if you want, and I certainly appreciate you guys who are supporting what I'm doing, which I'm not doing this show really for financial gain at all. I'm barely making anything really, but thank you guys who have supported me through Substack. That's one mechanism, one way to do that, and you'll note that there are no commercials in this show. It is a very long broadcast. It takes a while for me to put it all together and find all the articles and edit everything, and you know, when the show is done, I have that editing to do and rendering and uploading and all kinds of stuff. It just takes many hours. So all that to say, thank you guys for supporting, and yeah, I do have a few new products in the store here. So we've got the Diamond Report travel mug, has a handle, and Diamond Report white ceramic mug with colored inside, and then a new pillowcase. And let's look at the pillowcase first. I think it's kind of funny because I think you have to stuff the pillow yourself, but I thought it was funny that it's an 18 by 18 inch pillow case. I almost called it the 666 by 666 pillowcase. I should probably rename it, but no, it's just funny. But it's a pillowcase, and apparently you just stuff it yourself. So that's one option there, and this is the new mug, and you can see it's got different colors here. I think it's in 5 different colors. You can kind of see some of the different ones. So if you want a coffee mug, if you're a coffee drinker, feel free to grab a mug. They're relatively inexpensive, and again, these are print-on-demand products. So these don't exist until you place the order for one. And then this is a travel mug with a handle. This is what it looks like right there. You can kind of see how it might work. So yeah, that's available on store, or I should say actually shop or store .thediamond.report. So shop.thediamond.report, or you get, if you mistype it like I just said it, store.thediamond.report, you get there as well. So I set both links up to work, and that takes you right to this page. So that's 3 of the new products. I've got a few more new ones that I'm going to add as well. So we'll be doing that in the coming days as I have time. And then this is the Substack mechanism I mentioned that if you guys would sign up, that is totally free, and there's a way to pay a monthly amount if you so choose. And thank you guys again for doing that. There's a few of you who are, and wow, it's just it's an honor to be a news reporter for you guys. I'm happy to do that, and hope you're getting something out of this show. So it's an interesting process for sure, and Substack has been really helpful to me as far as being able to put everything into one cohesive place and one centralized location where I can disseminate the links and the show links and the article links and everything in one fell swoop. It's pretty easy for me to email everybody, and talking about cyber attacks and stuff like that, we don't know. I mean, if email goes down, I guess that would be a whole other issue, but if we still have email, then we can still communicate. So if you guys are on my Substack list, I can still communicate with you guys, and vice versa. So yeah, you just go to diamonddisc.substack.com, which is my Substack page, and you just put your email address in there, hit subscribe, or you can do no thanks if you want to, and you go right to the page where I have all my different posts, which is, it's basically like a blog. It's a glorified blog is what it is, really. And the one in the center here is the most recent post that I've done, and you'll see over here on the top left, this is the posting that I did about loyalty and the show with him, and that's actually linked to, even though the video isn't available on Loyalty's channel anymore, that's linked right here. If you do want to watch it, it's on my Rumble channel still, because we live streamed it to his YouTube channel and my Rumble channel. So it is still there. It does still exist. And just know that you can get to it that way just by going to my Substack. So there it is. And then this is last week's shows. What the AI says that the moon landing pictures were fake. So that was last week's show. And yeah, feel free to jump on the Substack if you would. And this is my Twitter. If you guys are on Twitter, feel free to follow me on there. I thought this meme was really funny. This one's a good one too. A geoengineering picture. It says, this is from Delta 9. I don't know who that is, but I found the picture and I thought it was interesting. Let's see how many clowns think this is normal. And then they've got different keywords attached to it. Chemtrails, geoengineering, HARP, SRM, stratospheric aerosol injection. It's all true. It's all true, and it ain't normal. So anyway, thought that was worth retweeting, as well as some other stuff. So feel free to look at that if you want. Twitter.com/TheDiamondRPRT. So it's the Diamond Report. You can just do a search for the Diamond Report on Twitter if you're on there. And you can actually get to that from my Substack too. If you're on Substack, you just go to the main page here, and if you scroll down just a little ways, you'll see all my links right here, the Diamond Report links, right here, starting with Twitter. And these are all the different platforms that I have a presence on. So feel free to look me up on any of those platforms, and I guess that's pretty much it on that stuff. And then here's the YouTube channel if you guys aren't already on there, which I've got a few new subscribers. I think it was mostly a result of the broadcast with loyalty the other day. So thanks you guys who have become subscribers on the YouTube channel. I appreciate it very much. And this video right here that you're watching, we're going to, as soon as I'm done with it tonight, we're going to delete it from the YouTube platform because I can't leave it on there. It's too dangerous. They will strike me down, as I've said many times. And this is my Rumble channel, Diamond Disc on Rumble, BitChute as well, and Brighteon, and ClickView, and then also TikTok, which I've mentioned a few times before. It's growing very slowly, but I do have a few people seeing the videos on TikTok, so I guess that's good. Just trying to reach a few of the young folks out there. And then Band is growing, so thank you, Miss Emily, for helping admin that, and also to Summer. And yeah, so feel free to jump on that if you want to. Totally free again. It's just request to be a member, and we'll get you added in. And we don't like the trolls, but we haven't had any issues yet, so that's good. Kind of a small group, but hey, everybody is you got to start somewhere, and everybody who is there has been really great. Got some Anthony Patch friends and people in there that have found out about me through that and through Anthony, and so it's a good community here where we're trying to just share information. Really is what it's about. And you can go in there and post things yourself, which is kind of nice. So if you're investigating something and you think it's really awesome and you want to tell people about it, then let us know. You can go in there and make a post, just like if you were on like Facebook back in the old days before they were censoring people. So yeah, Emily's posted the link there in the Rumble chat as well as the YouTube chat. So feel free to click the link and join Band if you want to. And it's not hard. It's just band.us. If you've never been to the website before, you can use the app if you want. I personally don't use the app, but it is kind of handy, I guess. You could, if you wanted to install it, you certainly could. It's available on Android devices and iOS devices both. The nice thing about Band is you can just log in through the website and just use the website, and you don't really need the app, although you can use it if you want to. And it's all free. So that's kind of nice. So yeah, band.us is where that is. And this is my company, Diamond Digital Media / Diamond Disc Audio. And I mentioned doing mixing. I do mixing for films, but mostly I do music mixing. So that's what this is about. If you happen to visit my website, and if you're interested in or have friends or family involved in music, I am working in the music business every day. That's kind of my 9-to-5 gig. And yeah, I've got some examples on here. This behind the scenes is that that video I mentioned that I made for L.A. Marzulli of me mixing and working on his last film, which was the UFO disclosure film series number 6. So that's what this video is. It's embedded right here on this page. And I did the mixing and music supervision on Anthony and Kathleen Patch's video from a couple years ago now called Precursor 2. And then several years ago, I also mixed and worked on this film called Phase 6, which was a science fiction film about Sky, believe it or not. It's actually a short film and was heavily praised and very, very much appreciated. And across the board, it did really well in some different, film festivals and that type of thing. So feel free to watch Phase 6. I did basically all the audio in that whole film, even including the sound effects and stuff. So yeah, we had a lot of fun on that film. It took a while to make it, but that was from about 2015 or so. So it was a while ago now. So yeah, have a look at that. That's the mixing page on diamonddiscaudio.com/mixing. That's where that is. And I guess that's it. That's it for me tonight. So let me see if there's any videos we have. Oh yeah, I've got one more video here we can watch. We'll just do that as we're closing the show out. And let me take a look at the comments real quick before we call it a night. It's just after midnight here in the Central Time Zone. You guys getting prepared for the holidays, and it's DAZE, holidays. Seems like it. Yeah, I mean we're definitely in that mode. So let's see. Did you all see where they uncovered an embedded QR code that is in that map during Obama's movie? No, I didn't know about that. Kathy says. Someone saw it, they scanned the QR code, and it led to some obscure place where children were murdered a long time ago. Very satanic. Wow. No, I did not know about the QR code. Man. Yeah, Obama's films has his hands all over that movie. It's got to be wicked. Yeah, no kidding. He is an Antichrist, not the Antichrist. A lot of people seem to think he is the Antichrist, but he doesn't have the imagery. It's not him. But he's definitely an Antichrist. Yeah, for sure. He doesn't have the imagery, and his name doesn't add up to 666. Let's see. What else are you guys talking about here? Yeah, I remember when Twitch deleted you. Shows a lot about their standards. Disgusting. Yep, I agree. Yeah, that was a couple years ago now, I think. It's been a little while. Let's see. Days of Noah did a really great breakdown yesterday of this film, Leave the World Behind. Okay. I didn't know about that. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I was really I first heard about it in the Greg Reese report, and then started kind of looking into it at that point. They control the population through fear. As long as we can see it for what it is, we won't get sucked into it. Yep. It's easy, Tucker. It's not UFOs. They are interdimensional fallen angels, in my honest opinion. I think you're right. Kathy, I think you're right. Yep. And that's basically what LA is saying as well. This is all biblical stuff here. Are potentially skin suits for the fallen demonic spirits to inhabit, maybe. Yeah, I've heard that they're either suits for them to inhabit, or that they are like automatons, basically robots essentially. I don't know. I mean, people have associated this horrific smell with these creatures. I don't think you'd have that if it was automatons. If it was a robot, I don't think you'd have the horrific smell and the super intense feeling of evil that people have reported being around these beings. The people who obviously come back from those experiences have reported those types of things, and I don't know. It seems to me like it's probably leans more toward the suit aspect of things versus the android aspect of things, just in my opinion. LA is the best. Glad you're working on his films. I have a dozen of his videos and one of his books. Yep. Kathy says. Yeah, LA is a great guy to work with. Karen Wilkinson's testimony is chilling and heartbreaking. LA did a great job exposing this evil and giving her and others a voice. Yeah, and you'll see that in the Roswell films that you guys probably remember the name Jesse Marcel, and he was the guy. Marcel was the guy who is in all those Roswell photographs where he's bent down over the weather balloon, and he's holding these pieces of what's obviously a weather balloon and not from a crashed craft. And he's looking at these pieces in bewilderment. And because he's astonished in that he's realizing at that moment that the military is put together, they've fabricated this intense lie about the whole Roswell situation, and it wasn't at all what he found. And yet he has to go with the flow and do his job and do as he's told and shut his mouth. So this film, the Roswell films in particular, is to help give some sort of rectification to the Marcel name, because a lot of people have really kind of over the years, because it's been since 1947, long time, 70 plus years, 76 years, something like that. It's been a long time, and a lot of people have really kind of drug their names, the Marcel name, through the mud. So it was LA's attempt to help restore some of that, and I think he did a good job of that in these new films. So that's kind of part of the idea. And Jesse Marcel, of course, is gone, but and then his son is also gone. However, his son's wife and then some of the other family members are in this film. So I think they do a good job, kind of, like I said, rectifying what was said and the things that actually happened in Roswell in 1947. The show with Loyalty was great. Very good info. Thanks for helping him with that. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I thought it turned out fine. I mean, yeah, it was a lot of hiccups and technical glitches and weird problems and stuff, but he did good. It was his first live stream, so I was trying to, trying to make sure he was staying as even keel as possible. Doug, will you be skipping next Sunday's show? Totally understandable. It's Christmas Eve. I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. Is it Christmas Eve? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I guess it is, because it was 17th when we started, and I think they're having the 24th next Sunday. So, yeah, that's Christmas Eve, according to my calculations, as Batman would say. I think we'll plan to do it, and I'll let you guys know if I change my mind. I think I'll be around, so we'll plan to do the live show next Sunday night, which is Christmas Eve, which we'll be switching over right about midnight, right into Christmas Day, so we could actually be spending Christmas Day for a few minutes together. So I guess we could plan to do that, and I don't know. I'll let you guys know if something comes up and I can't do it, but for the most part, 10 p.m. Central Time is a pretty good time for me, because things have sort of quieted down in life, at least for a little while. So we'll plan to do it, and I'll let you guys know if something changes. So yeah, good question. Thank you, Doug. Merry Christmas. Stay safe and well, everyone. Mushi says. So thank you. Yes, same to you guys. Very tired. Very tired. Going to sign off. Okay. No problem. Yeah, it is getting kind of late. So thank you guys for being here tonight. We've got one more video. It's called Apocalypse, the Plan to Stop Jesus. And I have some friends out there who love Jamie Walden, and I like the guy too. I think he's really good. This is a clip from a interview, I guess, that he did with the Flyover Conservatives, which I've seen a couple of their shows here and there. It's called Jamie Walden Conspiracy Conversations. So I don't think it's the Flyover Conservatives interviewing him. I think it's this separate show they have called Conspiracy Conversations. So anyway, this is only a couple minutes long, so we'll watch that, and we'll call it a night, I guess. So yeah, it's 12/18 on 12/18. Man, how weird is that? 12/18 on 12/18/23. So we will call it a night. Hope you guys have a really good week coming up, and get your Christmas shopping done if you haven't already. I still have some to do myself, but man, it's hard to find the time, that's for sure. So I hope and pray you guys have a really blessed week, and thank you guys for being here. Hello to everybody over in Rumble. We got Gerhard and other folks over there. Several people over there watching. So thank you guys for being here and on Rumble tonight, and also on YouTube and Facebook. We live stream to 4 different platforms on this show on Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Central Time on Sunday nights. So that is the coordinates for the show as we progress. So thank you guys for being here, and I certainly appreciate your time. And yeah, watch for the final version of this show as soon as possible. Hopefully tomorrow. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to get to it, just with the craziness of life at the moment. But yeah, look for that, and look for the links on Substack. If you guys are interested in any of the things that I talked about tonight, we'll link to pretty much everything in that Substack post. So get on that list if you're not already. diamonddisc.substack.com. So I hope you guys have a really great week, and love you guys, and God be with you guys, and keep me in your prayers, and my mom and family for sure. Thank you guys very much. I hear from people every now and then who said that they're praying for us, and yeah, we definitely need it and appreciate it very much. So God bless you guys. Hope you all have a really good one, and we'll talk again very soon.
There's a meme I've seen where it's like Jesus like this, and like some cartoon version of Satan, and they're arm wrestling, and it's like kind of a thing. I'm like, there's always this. I was trying to be depicted as this. There's this battle between good and evil, that it's like God versus the devil, and it's like torn back, like it's this tug of war thing, and like God's putting everything he can into it, and Satan's putting everything he can into it, and you don't know who's going to win. It's like it makes me sick.
Yeah, it's such a joke, dude. I mean, you think of Psalm 2, right? Think of Psalm 2, David. It says, they set themselves up against the Lord and his anointed, saying, we'll break his bonds asunder. We'll never have this man rule over, right? So it's talking about the cosmic rebellion raging in the face of God and against his son, Jesus Christ, right? And he speaks to it so like it's nobody. And then he says this. So they're doing all this. Think of the Armageddon. They raise their weapons skyward. There's a reason why they're doing planetary defense. One of it is the asteroid. The second one is they all know Christ is returning in the clouds, and they're literally putting directed energy weapons up to confront Christ. Listen to what they say. They'll tell you. You can read this. This is OSINT, open source intelligence. They will tell you, the occultists will tell you, the global elite, they know Christ is coming, but they're so hubristic they believe they can win. But anyways, back to Psalm 2. So they're doing all this for eons, even off-earth weapon systems to confront Christ. And it says, God terrifies them in this. He mocks and scoffs them. He scoffs and laughs. And then he terrifies them in his wrath, saying, I've installed my son on Zion, my holy hill. So God's response, there is no wrestling match like that image shows. God's response is this, David. He goes, ha! That's it. That's his response. Like, do your worst. Like, do your worst, powers of darkness, through humanity. He laughs, and it's such a non-issue. And look at when Jesus returns on the white horse, whose name is Faithful and True. He rides out in justice and judgment to make war. His robe is drenched in blood. Christ is not going to look like the way the church has trained you he looks like when you see him next. He is Messiah and David, the conquering king, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, riding out to make war. And all he does is show up and open his mouth, and it's over. There's no battle. There's no battle. He just opens his mouth. It says, I disarmed them, vanquishing them at the cross. I made a public spectacle of them. I conquered it. He went to Sheol to preach to the captives. He literally went to preach to angels that are reserved in chains in the earth. Here we go, hollow earth, right? The Bible literally describes everything. Everything about our world is in the scriptures. But the pathetic, skinny jean wearing, black rimmed, pacified pansy pastors are say nothings and do nothings. These effeminate, oh man, don't even get me going. Like, they won't equip the saints to be radiant in Christ Jesus, to have a knowing of their God, to go forth and do daring feats of valor. They're training to be a bunch of pansy pacifists, guys that acquiesce every aspect of the reality to the matriarchal feminists of the world so that they can drink beer and play golf after church is over and talk really cool and tough because they watched MMA once in their lives. Like, what a joke, dude. Put your money where your mouth's at, bro.